Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Big game coming up for Liverpool as we face Everton in the Merseyside Derby. So it's only right that I have someone on the show who has great knowledge of the game and can give us his take on the fixture. And that's Anfield, Uncle Rodz. Uncle Rodz, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Well, we was just talking backstage the other day about and trust me, it's not man through. This is a real
deal. Everyone's got it. Everyone's got it. That's some shape or form. Everyone's just under the weather right now. But we keep going. We keep going. We keep keep going, and then try and feather the storm as well. So let's get into it. So on paper, I think Liverpool fans should be confident about this fixture, as Everton, in general, in terms of a club, they have sort of digressed over the last year or two. But as we all know, when it comes to a derby, form goes out the window. So in terms of head-to-head last season, it was a 0-0 result in September 2022. And that was the match where, I don't know if you remember, Uncle Roz, where Conor Cody scored a goal. He shamelessly started celebrating, and then it was ruled offside by VAR. So he didn't get the goal. And then obviously the Liverpool fans gave it to him as well, which was nice to see. Yeah. And then February, we won 2-0. Mo Salah scored the first goal. And then it was actually Gakpo's first goal for the club as well. I think it was Trent Alexander-Arnold with the low cross, tapping in the near post. So that was a good victory for us. In terms of Everton's form this year, they've won 2 games. They've drawn 1 and they've lost 5. So 2 wins coming through against Brentford and Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. So Uncle Ross, what have you made of Everton's form so far this season?
It's pretty poor, isn't it? It's pretty poor.
Yeah.
They've lost against Luton. Luton went up there, and I had them like accumulator, and I had Luton, Everton to beat Luton. Mm-hmm. And Luton went up there and done a number of them still. Do you know what I mean? So it has been pretty poor. They've been flirting with relegation. That's what people call it. They have been flirting with relegation. I mean, obviously beating Bournemouth, you would expect them to beat Bournemouth. Come on now, you expect them to beat Bournemouth. And who else did they beat? Was it Brentford?
They beat Brentford as well. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. They beat Brentford.
Yeah, you would expect them to do that, wouldn't you? You would expect them to beat Brentford and Bournemouth. So when you look at that, that's not really a massive victory because you're expected to win those games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would be a surprise would have been that if the likes of Brentford did beat you and the likes of Bournemouth did beat you. Do you know what I mean? That would have been a surprise. Nobody's really surprised at the day that they beat Bournemouth and Brentford. Nobody's really surprised. So the form today has been pretty sort of like poor. The only thing they could take out of this game, that everything could take out of this game is that when you got to Derby, form goes out the window. It's like when we against sort of like Man United, and they thought last season that they thought it was going to turn us over because we were in bad form. I think we lost against Wolves. Previously, like Wolves and all these teams at Brighton, didn't they? And the thing is about when we lost those games, you could say that we got outplayed. You know what I mean? We got outgunned, we got outmanned, we got out everything. Do you know what I mean? So Man United and they was on a good turn of form. I think they just won the League Cup. I think. Yeah. They thought they're gonna come to Anfield to come and cook us, but we all know what happened, don't they? Yeah. So goals later, walking on like you know what I mean? Whatever. You know what I mean? So. Form does go out the window. I'm not saying that Everton's going to come and do that to us. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
No way I don't think that. But what you still have to do is that sort of like play your game and you can't think at the day this game's going to be an easy thing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I feel at the day Liverpool's going to beat them. Do you know what I mean? But you still have to sort of like be mindful at the day is that they can pull off something. Do you know what I mean? They can. Because like when teams at the day are in this form, they're like a wounded animal, aren't they? You know what I mean? And they just come out fighting. So, be mindful. But I do feel that the day sort of like Liverpool can get the victory. But their form has been terrible. It's been terrible. I mean, I've got them down. I'm not being funny. I've got them down. They could get relegated this season.
I do as well. To be fair,
Yeah.
I think in terms of their recruitment, I think the signing of danjuma was a good one, but that's the only silver lining in terms of what they've done so far. The rest of the team, I just feel like they're below par in terms of Premier League standards. So for me, it's not a surprise in terms of where they are. So they're currently 16th in the league. So yeah, I don't really see them scoring a lot of goals. I think they've always heavily relied on Calvert-Lewin, but he's pretty much MIA for most of the season. They've brought in a couple of new players as well, but they're not proven in the Premier League. So, you know, if you bought a player from the Portuguese league, they'll take time to climatize to their new surroundings. So that's, you know, living in a new city, new country. They might not even be able to speak the language as well. So that's a big factor in terms of settling down. So they've got a lot of work to do to try and climb up. They've already, so like you said Bournemouth and Brentford are teams they should be beating on paper. They should be. Brentford, I was quite surprised. I feel like that should have been a fixture that they should have won. Bournemouth are very like Jekyll and Hyde right now. Sometimes they show up, they actually produce good performances, but they don't really get the results. So yeah, they're a bit of a funny outfit. I think Sheffield United was one they drew, and they lost to Wolves as well. So those are the kind of games you got to win, because those are the teams that will be around you. So
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, sorry.
It's bread. No, I was just saying that adding to what you're saying. Those are bread and butter games. Those are bread and butter games.
Right.
We should really be taking the points. And if there's any points to be taken, you're going to think it. And they could be like United, more or less Wolves, and Luton. Don't forget.
Luton as well. Yeah.
So really and truly, it's bread and butter. And if you can't do that, it's kind of like, what is, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, what is that for you? Because you're gonna have teams like Arsenal at the end of the day. You have teams like Chelsea, teams like Man United, teams like Liverpool, even Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? You know, in a mix. Probably, yes, be kind. You probably throw Tottenham in there. Do you know what I mean? You know, you know that can sort of like that. You might not be able to get the points from. Do you know what I mean? So if you're sort of like come against Sheffield United and you struggle, you come against Wolves and you struggle, come against Luton and you struggle, well, hope is there for you. There's not really much hope.
No, I thought they were actually quite lucky to even stay up last season. So I thought, you know, this summer, maybe this was a summer where Sean Dyche can get the players that he wants in his team. So he has recruited, I think we mentioned danjuma. They got Jack Harrison from Leeds United as well. So they've made a couple of additions that are decent in terms of on paper, but I feel like it hasn't really improved the team overall, in my opinion. So it's like you've just continued off from last season. So I feel like just because you edged it doesn't mean you're going to do the same thing. Just because Everton, in terms of traditionally, are supposed to be like a decent sized club, doesn't mean that your heritage will get you through the window in terms of like, you know, staying into the Premier League. So yeah, I'll be honest with you, not impressed with what they've done.
They're one of the oldest clubs, aren't they? Everton, one of the oldest.
They are, yeah, they are.
I mean, not many people might not know. That's where Liverpool got born out of Everton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, you might say that, like the Everton. That's their Liverpool is their son. You know what I mean? Liverpool literally is their son. Do you know what I mean? Because they got born out there. Because back in the day, and everything, when Liverpool was just coming out, they used to play in blue and white.
Yeah.
Liverpool playing blue and white. Early 1900s, you know, late 800s stuff. He's playing blue and white. Do you know what I mean? You know, so traditionally, at the end of the day, they are a big club. Traditionally, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one will think at the end of the day, well, you need to start acting like a big club. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean? You know, but you know, it's just I don't have much hope in that with them staying up.
Yeah. I don't want it to come across because we're Liverpool fans that would, you know, got a biased opinion. I just feel like they're in a club that's in a very unpredictable position right now because they've got new owners coming in as well. You know, so apparently their reputation is not very highly regarded from where they're from. So, you know, the previous ownership was pretty awful. They recruited very poorly, wasted a lot of money. So that's their track record. That it hasn't gone to plan. They've always also got a new stadium that's being built. So let's say if they were to get relegated, that will have a lot of financial impact on the club. So this season is a make or break season for Everton. So as long as they survive, they'll be fine. But I'll be honest with you, it's not looking good in terms of their future. But we can evaluate that as the season goes on. In terms of the current team, who would you regard as the danger men for Everton? If they have any.
That's another one, isn't it, mate? You have to go on. I mean, as I said, we talked about the likes of Calvert-Lewin. Do you know what I mean? He's a good player. I mean, you can't deny that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I like that Onana. I like him.
Yeah,
really good player. But as I said, you know what I mean. I don't want to sound disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not like what we're here for. Do you know what I mean? Because Everton ain't really done something. Because you got to think about Everton back in the 80s. At the day, Everton back in the 80s at the day, it was the kind of situation at the day. It's like Liverpool and Everton determined who was going to win the league. Do you know what I mean? In the 80s. You know what I mean? I know it's obviously going back a long way, but I can remember at the days in the 80s, they determined who was going to win the league. If Everton won the league, Liverpool won the FA Cup or League Cup or probably Europe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then, if we won the league at the day, Everton probably win the FA Cup or League Cup. Do you know what I mean? So they actually Division 1, they actually ran that. Do you know what I mean? So I know where I want to sound disrespectful to sort of like we're just looking at the picture that's in front of us now. Do you know what I mean? And that's all we can do. So Calvert-Lewin at the day, to me at the day is a good player and he's a good player. But the only thing about Calvert-Lewin is he's a bit like a Maddison at the end of the day, right? In the way that people like Calvert-Lewin and Maddison look good on the pitch when they're fit, when they're able to play. It's when they get injuries in the day, right? That's when shit hits the fan. Excuse my language. That's when it hits the fan.
Yeah.
I'm saying, because their form just dips. Do you know what I mean? Because most of the time they're trying to get match fit, and you never see the goodness in a person when they're trying to get match fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't find that rhythm because that's what it takes a long time for the attacking players to find that rhythm. I feel with Calvert-Lewin as well, he hasn't shown that form that sort of brought him to that spotlight a few years ago, where he was that young prospect coming through. Injuries has definitely hampered his development, but I feel like whenever he's on the pitch, I don't feel like he offers that pace that he used to as well. I feel like injuries has probably hampered that part of his game where he doesn't offer that blistering speed, or sometimes he used to put on the shoulder. Now he's very predictable. He's more of a hold-up striker. So it'll be interesting to see how they do, to be fair. In terms of Liverpool, so it might feel like due to the last couple of results, we're probably a bit more downbeat in terms of how we were a few weeks ago, but we've not actually had a bad start to the season. We've played 8 games, we won 5, drawn 2, and lost 1. Overall, what have you made of the season so far for Liverpool? Has it surprised you in terms of how well the midfielders gelled, for example, or do you think this was expected in terms of how we performed so far?
No, it has surprised me. It has surprised me. No doubt, it has surprised me. Because obviously, you look at last season, the comparison of last season, and we all know what we wanted last season. Every screen out there, change the midfield and so forth. Right? You can change the midfield. You can change the midfield, but there's a situation today. How are these people going to gel together? You know what I mean? And I'm surprised at the day how they are. Do you know what I mean? Straight away, I'm just surprised. They just know everything about each other so far, and that's a very hard thing to do. It's like what Mark Goldbridge said. Yeah, because I watch Mark Goldbridge's podcast quite a lot because he's a Man United fan, but he talks facts. He don't talk. He does. He says it like it is, and I really admire his podcast. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so he was saying, and he goes, you look at sort of Liverpool and right? What they've done. Look what Jurgen Klopp's done. Jurgen Klopp has completely changed that midfield and got them gelled together straight away. And he goes, trust me. And then, like, obviously getting playing good and this and that. He goes, trust me, that's a very hard thing to do, what he's doing now. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm surprised at the day of how, well they've gelled together. Do you know what I mean? With the players that we have available for, well, I'm not going to that because obviously going to go into that later. But certain players that we got available today, I think they can do the job. Like Cody Gapper, do you know what I mean? He's going to be available today for Saturday's game, and I think
I don't think he's available. You know?
No, he's available. He's available.
Is Gakpo available?
Yeah, he's available because what it was today.
Good news. Good news. Okay, I thought he was still injured. Okay, that's great news.
Yeah, because that injury and they saw him. The injury they saw him miss the Brighton game, but they said it and he'll be sort of like, he'll be fit in day for.
Oh, that's great news.
Okay. Remember, so like he didn't play the Brighton game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's had about probably nearly 4 weeks rest. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think he went on international duty with Holland. I don't think he went because obviously he was injured still. So
he was injured, yeah.
I do honestly feel at the day so like he'll be available. So, but let's just go on the premises at the day that he's available. Yeah, let's go on the premises that. Now, Cody Gapper to me, he's a brilliant player. He's such a, you know what I mean? He can carry the ball from midfield at the day to the attackers, or he can just be there and they hanging on the back left back post in there to slot in. His movement's great. His movement's great in effect. And he's hungry for the ball. And I could only see players like that getting better and better. Do you know what I mean? So likes of having him available and they sort of like for sort of like Saturday game, Everton need to watch out because at the end of the day, when he starts scoring at the end of the day, right, he doesn't stop. Remember at the end of the day against Man United, he scored that worldly goal today, right? We cut him for left for that, dropped his shoulder, packed it bottom right corner, and then he done another one, didn't he? He done another one on the other side, the cop end. How he chipped David De Gea, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
How he chipped De Gea from that angle? Because if you look at that goal, he didn't even look.
No,
he literally didn't look. He knew where he was going to put it, and he knew where it was going to land, and he knew it was going to be a goal. He just like flicked it like that, and he went straight to the cop like this. Do you know what I mean? It's just like he knew it was going to be a goal, and oh my god. The movement on that goal. Listen, I'm watching that again after this. You see how much of an important player Cody Gapper is for us. Do you know what I mean? I think having him available at the day, along with obviously the midfield in that, right, which we will go on to later. But having him available for Saturday's game is a massive boost for us. It's a massive boost.
Yeah, that's breaking news for me. So Uncle Rodz brought some good news to the show because I thought he was unavailable. I think due to the magnitude of the tackle and the injury as well, I think it was reported that he might be even out for like a couple months. So that's big news that he's actually available for this game. Annoyingly, this fixture is a midday kickoff. We won't get into the politics in terms of why that always happens to Liverpool, as it's after an international break. Do you think this will have an impact in terms of the team selection, or do you expect Klopp to play the likes of McAllister, Diaz, Nunez from the start of the game?
I think he won't play Diaz because we have Jota available.
Yes.
His suspension's done now, isn't it? His suspension's
done.
It
was a one match, I think, yeah.
So he will play him and then they sort of like on the left, you know what I mean? And obviously have Diaz come off the bench. Because then man have travelled all from South America. I think he will play McAllister.
Yeah.
I think he will play McAllister because I don't think Curtis Jones is available.
He's still suspended, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a free match, didn't they?
Free match, yeah.
Because they reversed it to straight red, didn't they? So it's a free match. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So he won't be available. So what do you do? I mean, because I know Thiago's not available. Brzezinski's not available. So The only thing I could see him doing, is a situation of like, if you want to play McAllister, he puts McAllister in a deep line, DM, and he puts sort of like, you know, Elliot on the left. You know, or obviously Endo in DM, but then McAllister on the left. I think either way he cannot avoid not playing McAllister. That's the thing about it. He can't, because obviously in the, you know, due to injuries and obviously due to suspension, his hands. You know what I mean? So I think he'll play McAllister, but he won't start with Diaz. I think Diaz will hold the bench, and then you know, Jota will just do the left hand side, because you always get a goal in Jota as well. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah. Well, we'll do the predicted lineup shortly. Just got a few comments here. So we've got Football Edits. Thank you for commenting. It says Liverpool on top. Of course, always Liverpool always on top. You've got Jordan here. Hi guys. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for tuning in. We've got Double D. Thank you, Double D, for your comment. He trained, not 100% sure he'll definitely be used. So that's regarding Gakpo. True, but at least I think it's still a big lift to know that he's available, just in case if we do need to start him. So, or even if it's not him starting, at least maybe he can make a late cameo in the second half. So at least he's available, or he's on the bench, as I feel like due to the suspensions we've had and a couple of injuries here and there, we have sort of reduced the numbers in terms of quality on the bench. So that is something that we need to rectify. In terms of team news, so I'll just say out loud in terms of what I've heard so far. So Curtis Jones, as me and Uncle Ross just mentioned, is still suspended, so he's not available for this game. Kelleher, Thiago, and Bajtic are still out. And you've got Robertson as well, who's actually sidelined for this fixture. Everton, they're missing 4 players, so that includes Dele Alli, Coleman, Gomez, and Idris Gueye as well. So what we'll do, we'll predict the away team. We'll do the Everton lineup first, and then we'll do the Liverpool lineup, and then we'll
just to say quick, just quickly. Darwin Nunez is a doubt for that game as well.
He is. He picked up an injury for Uruguay, didn't he? So yeah, that's something.
That's what I'm saying about Gakpo. Gakpo, they'll probably use Gakpo. Do you know what I mean? So having Gakpo available, it's a big boost for it, because I know Nunez is carrying an injury, and they might not risk it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting. I think it's a big dilemma for Klopp, because Gakpo's just come back from injury. You don't want to rush him too soon, but at the same time, we don't really have a lot of options for that central role position. So yeah, we'll chop out in terms of that. So what we'll do, we'll share the graphics for the Everton team. So this should be quite straightforward. This is
what I use. I swear by this builder, you know, this builder is quality. This is quality.
To be fair, I do like the way they presented their teams and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best tools to use. In terms of the back four, I think they don't rotate a lot. So it's, what's their left back's name? I've written his name down somewhere. It's Mikolenko, I think it is. So hopefully Mikolenko, there he is. And then Ashley Young, because Coleman's not available, so I assume Ashley Young will start on the right-hand side, which is what he did.
He's about 4 years old now, isn't he?
God, no, he's probably collecting his pension right now as he's playing.
No, isn't it? But that's Everton. What the hell are you doing?
To be fair, he doesn't age. He looks the same as well. It looks like he was. You know, when he used to play for Aston Villa, he still looks the same. So fair play to him. And then you've got Tarkowski as well. So pretty much this is the normal sort of back four, I would say. In terms of the midfield, so Harrison scored in the other game, so I feel like he will start. In the previous game, they actually started McNeil on the left, but I'm going to go with a different option. I think they might start Danjuma on the left-hand side. If they were smart, that's what I would do. Would you agree with that, Uncle Rodz, in terms of having him in the starting lineup?
Yeah. I mean, listen, They need all the help they can get. Come on, man. They come to Anfield, man. This could get embarrassing for them. You know that, don't you?
I know.
I'm here for it. I'm going to watch them, so yeah.
Yeah, and then your boy Onana as well. I was about to add the Man United one there. That's the wrong Onana. Then you've got.
He's a good player, though. Onana. He's
a solid. It's just a shame he's at Everton too. I feel like if he was, you know what, even if he was at Liverpool, I feel like he'd do a great job for us. You know, he looks like he has all the attributes to be a top midfielder. So
yeah, Wasn't Man United looking at him?
They were. They just didn't go in for him. I think. Frank Lampard was the manager at the time as well when they recruited him, so I think that would have probably swayed him to come over to Everton. But I don't think that interest was that strong. I think they were looking at other options instead. So one of many talents. Yeah, one of many talents that they missed out on. You know.
Yeah, because they wanted thing, didn't they? They wanted that guy Amrabat, and being funny, right? They should have gone for Onana because the fact that at least Onana and the day knows the Premiership.
The Premiership,
He knows the Premiership. That's why you got people like Jota that's done so well because Jota knows the Premiership. McAllister knows the Premiership. Sometimes at the day you got to go with proven people instead of going for these other guys and spending. Oh God, that's my anyway.
We'll leave it to them to stress out about that one. And then we'll go for doucoure, who's actually had a decent start, to be fair, for Everton.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good box-to-box player. I feel like it might be an area where in the future they might get someone who's a bit more prolific. But to be fair, he does a good job. He's an all-round player, but he can also chip in with a goal or two as well. So a good option there. From what I've heard, Calvert-Lewin is available, so we'll start him there. So I think this will be the opposition in terms of who we face.
Yes.
I think me and Uncle Ross will agree. It's not a team that we fear whatsoever. So, I think we've highlighted danjuma as the one where if he does start in this position, he will be the one that is a danger man for me. Playing on the left-hand side, you know, he might even start the game for all we know. So, because he has played up front for Everton this season. So, he's a danger man. Onana as well, I think. Last year when we played him, I feel like he had a great game against us as well.
Yeah, especially at
Goodison, right?
Goodison Park.
Yeah, he had a great game.
A really good game. He was just tracking players wherever they went, and that's what I'm saying. That's the game at the day that sort of like made me like an Onana supporter. Yeah, because he played so good in that game, and we just none of the Liverpool players that they could get away from me. So I think in the day, so like that season in the day itself, like last season, I think he was a factor in keeping him up.
Definitely.
I think if he wasn't in the squad, Everton are conceding more goals than what they did last season. He's a quality player.
He's very good.
Listen, I don't see him being at the club next season. I don't see him. No. He's either Newcastle going to come in for him, Arsenal, you know what I mean? Or probably even Liverpool might say, okay. They might say, sorry, let's take this guy. They might just do that. You know what I mean? You know? But I don't see him being with Everton next season. He's going to go.
He will go. He won't need to move house as well, so it's a positive if he does come to Liverpool.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Walk on the road, innit? Walk on the road.
Yeah, just walk down the road. You're all good there. So, just got a few more comments here. Madison Smith, the question for me is, do I wake up at 5:30 a.m. to watch the Merseyside Derby? Madison's from America. So, yeah, do you know what? I was saying, in terms of our past history, this is normally a very feisty game, but it can also be a bit of a dull game as well. So I think it's definitely one to wake up. You know, if the first half is not saying much, then you might as well go back to bed. That would be my advice in regards to this fixture here. Got another comment here from Richard. Thank you for your comment, Richard. Prediction for Saturday Merseyside Derby: Liverpool 3, Everton 1. Only way Everton is going to score by a Liverpool defensive mistake. And knowing us, we'll probably concede first as well, which is always the case. So yeah, hopefully that is not how it pans out. But thank you for your prediction there. Double D, doucoure is the danger. I think he is. I definitely think he is. We mentioned Onana, but I think doucoure is in that same bracket where both very dynamic players, box to box, can make a good tackle when they need to, but they can go drive with the balls or their ball carriers as well, so they can really make an impact on the game and shoot from distance and get on the score sheet as well. So these are the players that will work our midfield. So they are definitely, for me, the danger man in terms of trying to not overrun us in midfield, but definitely have an impact where their pressing could be very pivotal in terms of how the game pans out. So very, very important players there. Double D says,
one thing. I do think at the day some of them are French African or African players that they just got a lot of energy, just got this untold energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the energy that they got, it kind of suits the Premiership. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know,
100%.
in a way that's like, as I said, how they press and how they defend, how they run. Do you know what I mean? So like, I do see a lot of these French Africans that come over to Premiership.
Yeah,
a lot of them do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, obviously some of them don't, but a lot of them do well in this league. You know what I mean? Because of their energy. Do you know what I mean? And Onana in the day, right? That's one of the main things about how it stayed 0-0 at Goodison Park that time. There was his energy, was the fact that he was able to run back it and they attract certain players and stuff. So I'm very impressed with some of them African and French African players.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I think for me, in terms of the French league, I know it gets quoted as the Farmers League, but if you actually watch the matches there, they're very physical there, and they still play at a very good pace. It's not like the English Premier League. I think our football is just chaotic. It's like back and forth. Like that's how we play. Whereas over there, they're a bit more technical, but they're also very physical and powerful as well. So that's how the French play. That's how they play football. So just because the other teams aren't as high profile as the PSG doesn't mean the quality of the league is not there. They promote their youngsters in the French league. That's a big thing as well. So that's where you unearth a lot of gems there, and they play serious ball. So we were linked with the likes of Kevin Turam as well. And if you see how he plays, he's got that in his locker as well. Does that make sense? So
and Kone as well. Kone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So trust me, these are the players that when they come from the French league, you always feel like you said, some players work out, some don't, but that's just life. It is what it is. Like you can't really pan out how things happen when someone makes the move. But general speaking, they actually equip to the Premier League very quickly. They know how to play. For them, it's just getting used to tactics of the manager and the way of playing, getting used to the teammates. But they're normally fast learners and they literally hit the ground running straight away. So no, these players, they're the ones where you have to really mark them and make sure they don't really have an impact on the game. Just got another comment here from Double D. Ghana will probably start for them. Yeah, I agree with you in that one. Another comment here from Richard. You watching Makachev versus Volkanovski, Chelsea and Arsenal, Brighton, Man City, Usman and Shimaev, Kato and Linares, Lowell and Chamberlain, England and South Africa. I'm a big UFC fan, so I'm definitely watching that fight. It's in Abu Dhabi, so thankfully for me, I'll have to stay up for that one. It actually starts at 7 UK time, so I'm quite happy about that.
Nice, man.
Yeah, and in terms of the boxing, I might have to catch up with that one because I think it'll be around the same time. So for me, the UFC stands out. Are you a big fan of any other sports that Richard has mentioned there?
Yeah, I mean, in my youth, I used to do boxing. I used to back in my youth. I was at amateur level. I didn't like win any major titles or anything. That I was like, amateur, you know what I mean. So I always like boxing. Muay Thai. I like Muay Thai. I think Muay Thai. I like Muay Thai. I watch a bit of MMA sometimes. I don't really obviously follow it a lot. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't actually tell you who was the best and who's doing this and who's doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's just like I watch it now and again. I think those are the sports really that are, other than sort of like football, that I would watch really, like boxing and some Muay Thai and that. Do you know what I mean? Because I used to do a bit of Muay Thai myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, at the day, I wasn't like at any great level. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Don't click me on this. You know what I mean? But, like, I used to do it, and I obviously learned the basics and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of actually going back to it, but like those are the sports like I enjoy watching it. They I love seeing a good tear up. And I'll tell you something, some of these women boxing, yeah, the women boxing is good actually, you know. I watched that and they can have a tear up, blood. I'm like,
yeah.
hey,
You need to get,
here, you know?
you need to get back on the UFC thing because the women there, they don't play around. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
so,
they got that woman Nunez, isn't it?
Amanda Nunez, yeah, they've got some big fighters there. So yeah, like don't let the pretty looks like fool you. Like they're warriors in that case. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this UFC one because the Usman and Chimaev one. It's kind of come out of the blue because Chimaev's opponent got injured. I think he had an elbow injury last week. So Kamaru Usman is a former champion as well. So that one's a big fight as well. Makachev and Volkanovski as well. That's a rematch. It happened. They fought a few months ago. In terms of my prediction for these two, I think Chimaev and Makachev will win this one. So, you know, let's see if I get my prediction right. In terms of the football, Chelsea, Arsenal, yeah, that's a big one. That's definitely one I'll be watching. Brighton and Man City on paper is definitely a big game as well. Not really a huge fan of rugby, but, you know, I'll check to see how England are doing. Cricket, funny. Cricket is one of those sports where I'm from Pakistan, so I feel like it's in my blood to play cricket, but it's not a sport. It's not a sport that I actively play, but if it's like a T20, I might watch it here and there. But yeah, I haven't really caught up with any of it. I know Pakistan played India last week, which was a big deal. The Lawal and Chamberlain, I don't know if you've seen any footage online and stuff, but these guys don't like each other. This is going to be like a street fight. So
what's that? Is that boxing? Lawal and Chamberlain?
That's boxing. So these are British guys. So they're like I think they're all from London as well. So they've just been like squaring up at each other a lot in the last few weeks, like coming close to blows in the press conferences. So that one's got a lot of fire in terms of the anticipation of that fight. So listen, man, if you're a sports fan, yeah, you got a lot to look forward to tomorrow and over the course of the weekend as well.
Yeah, that's looking nice. But you know what, Pakistan, Pakistan, they had a team back in the day, you know.
Yeah, they did.
For cricket, they had a team back in the day. Was it Saeed one man there?
Yeah. You know what's funny, right? I used to follow them, man, until 99. So there was the World Cup we had at 99, and it was in London as well. So it was in the UK, and we lost to Australia. But we later found out that they lost because of match fixing. So for me, it's just like, yeah, these guys are just they're not really playing the sport for real. So I kind of lost the love for watching cricket after that. But I just showed my age there a little bit. But you know, it is what it is.
But back in them days, I used to watch it religiously, but I used to watch it because you had the I think every country had a good team. That's the thing about it. Apart from this. No, it's true though, isn't it? Every country had a good team. You look back at sort of like Sri Lanka's team, it was bad, right? India team was bad. Pakistan team, bad. West Indies was bad.
That team
Everybody really, all the major, Australia as well. All the major
South Africa as well. There were some good teams there.
As well. All the major players, when you think about it, had some bad team. It's just to see who was the baddest. And then we had Brian Lara. Yeah, Brian Lara did that sort of like broke that guy's record, didn't he? He broke that guy's record.
Yeah.
For the runs and the thing that And then later on, he broke his own record till England literally had to concede defeat because they couldn't get him out. Nearly 400 runs on his own, man. On his own, imagine that. Man scored nearly 400 runs on his own, and England had to concede. England had to literally put their backs down. So now we can't get this guy out. So I think that's when you got sort of like you got really good cricket at that time. Then I mean, they had a better scores at the day when West Indies won. Like they won the World Cup. They won it. The World Cup at senior level. They won it at junior level, and they won it at ladies level. Do you know what I mean? Just done the treble. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's what they had the resurgence. But nowadays, it's not really grabbing me really to watch it. Really, to be honest, I'm like you. I just don't really. there's no excitement there anymore as there was at the day. When I had my time at the day when I used to watch in the 90s with my little brother, and we used to watch it on Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Those were the days, but nah, it's not really me now. Cricket really, but all the other sports that they say, like the boxing, the UFC and so forth. And yeah, man, I'm on that, man. I'm on that.
Yeah, me too. It's all about combat sport for me right now. So yeah,
you know those ones, isn't
it? Definitely the one forward right now. Just got a couple more comments here. Ensman TV, big up, bless up, man. Thank you, Ensman TV. Thank you for tuning in. And then you've got Silent Football Show. Big up to you as well, fam. I hope you're well. So yeah, what we'll do now, we've done the Everton team, so we can get rid of them for now. we can share the graphic for the Liverpool team now. So
man, just straight away, you know.
I just had to get rid of it. I had enough of seeing that now. So let's do the Liverpool team. So Alisson should be able to start. Oh, well, to be fair, we don't really have much options. It can't be Adrian, so because Kelleher's not available, right? So I definitely play Alisson there. So that's like not even an option, like to even consider anyone else. So Alisson goes there. Robertson is not available, so safe to say Tsimikas starts this one.
Yeah, because the other guy, what's the other guy? The other guy is it Luke Chamberlain?
Luke Chambers, Luke Chambers.
He's apparently picked up an injury.
Oh, has he? Okay, so he would have been an option as well.
Injury, so that's going to be like, because they were saying that they feel sorry. Well, people feel sorry for him because obviously Robertson being out. Do you know what I mean? This is the time and day that he can step up and shine and that. Do you know what I mean? He's picked up an injury. I don't know how long it's going to be. He's going to be out for, but I know he's in the injury, so it's going to be Tsimikas all the way. Really, do you know what I mean? That's going for Premiership games and. Obviously, if we've got the League Cup coming up and we've got like Europa Cup coming, it's going to be Tsimikas all the way.
Yeah. What's your views on Tsimikas? Because I feel like the fan base is quite split. I actually don't think he's a bad player. I feel like even if he gets a few games on the run, I feel like he'll still do a decent job. Do you have faith in him? Do you feel like he's capable of showing a good string of performances, or are you actually nervous to see him in the starting lineup?
No. I actually welcome it because I think Tsimikas is that sort of player. Once he gets runs of games, he just gets better and he gets better. Do you know what I mean? Correct. It's very hard at the day to sort of like get you get one game and then you don't know where your next game's coming from. You know what I mean? If it's gonna come, and then all of a sudden the manager puts you in. Do you know what I mean? People are expecting you to just sort of like be this player that's better than the other person that you're replacing. It doesn't work like that because you still got to get used to it again. Do you know what I mean? But when you see him get a run of games, you literally see how good he is and how and how good he can be. Do you know what I mean? But so you have to give him a run of games. So like this chance that he's getting now, and then I welcome it because he's only going to get better with the run of games. Remember at the day, so like Robertson at the day, we're not expecting him back till next year now. Do you know what I mean?
Is it quite a lengthy one? Because I heard a couple of months, but is it longer than that? Do you think?
Well, they're saying that they sort of like. At the end of the year, at minimum. Do you know what I mean? So you're probably getting back for sort of like the FA Cup. You know what I mean?
Like Jan February time.
So and that's another talking point, but obviously for another show. I mean, I touched on my show sort of like Saturday gone. But club versus country and that. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's something else. But we're not expecting Robertson back till sort of like the end of the year. So Tsimikas at the day is going to get a long run of games. So expect to see some good stuff out of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he'll flourish under this sort of like new, not pressure, but like being embedded into the team now. Because, like you said, I do feel like he is a confidence player. I feel like he needs that rhythm as well. So. Whenever he's performed, and fair play to him, I feel like it takes a lot to have that kind of mentality as a squad player where when he comes on, he always gives his all and he always tries to make things happen. He's got a great crossing ability and set pieces as well. So I feel like I'm welcoming him playing in the team. Obviously, he's not quite Robertson's level, but at the same time, you're not going to have that level of player as your squad player as well. Does that make sense? So very unlikely unless you're Man City. But in general terms, you wouldn't have that kind of caliber of player on the bench. So I think he'll do a good job. Just hopefully he stays in your feet, touch wood that,
Yeah.
He doesn't pick up anything either. Okay, so we mentioned Danjuma possibly starting this fixture, and I think he will be the danger man if that is the predicted lineup. So, would you start with Trent or Gomez for this fixture?
It has to be Trent.
It has to be Trent, 100%.
I mean, put it this way, my friend. Yeah, I would love to start with Gomez, but he's not going to do that. Do you know what I mean? So you have to then be realistic at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You can't go with your heart. You have to go with sort of like what is practical. You know what I mean? And he's going to go with Trent. Do you know what I mean? Because I would say that Trent at the end of the day is getting better and he's defending as well still. But what it is at the day, I mean, I watched a game today. It was like watch a highlight of a game today, and it was when I think who was managing them? I can't remember. No, he's a Portuguese guy who was managing Everton at the time.
Okay. Silva, the Fulham manager.
Yeah.
Marco Silva.
And we beat him 5-2.
Yeah.
And this the Shaqiri's goal. Yeah, the Shaqiri's goal at the day, right? The build-up play was like a work of art, and it all started in the day from Trent. And Trent was in his right back position, and he just pinged that ball straight over to Mane, and Mane got it. He flicked up, didn't he? Did a little flick up, didn't he? And he ran with it, right? And he stopped and he passed it inside. Shaqiri ran onto it and basically knocked the ball that way. So basically, he sent it back to where the goalkeeper was, because the goalkeeper come from the right out to sort of like obviously defend it and close him down, but he sent it back that way. Do you know what I mean? It was the build-up play was a work of art, and it all started from Trent. So I think what it is at the day with Klopp, he's going to want some of that. He knows that the day Trent and they is capable of doing one pass at the day, and that'll split your defense wide open.
Definitely. I just thought I'd raise a question because I have to play devil's advocate sometimes. I feel like it's a no-brainer in terms of starting Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think the emphasis is that his one-on-one defending is not at the highest level. Fair enough. That I won't say he's the best defender. I'm not that biased where I can't see it. We know he's not the best defender, right? But you look at the last fixture, we played against Brighton, and then he was stepped up against Mitoma. Mitoma was quiet in that game. I don't see anyone talking about that though. So it's not like he got cooked.
It's all agendas, isn't it? It's all
agendas. Of course it is. So
Gomez at the day, when he has good games in the day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody talks about it, but then the moment and day he has something bad happen in that game, they will talk about that more than what they would talk about the good that he done in that game. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Just got a comment from Double D who said locked up Bitoma, but the TL was quiet. Yeah, I agree. We did lock him up, but timeline was quiet. They didn't really talk about that much, but we move in that regards. But centre back pairing, I think it's safe to say it's Van Dijk and Konate to start this one, or would you go for Matip?
I'll go for Matip,
Fair play. I think I would as well.
You know what I mean? And experienced guys at that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think Matip in the last 3-4 games has been the best centre back in my opinion. I feel like he's been showing that old form that he was showing a couple of years ago, where very dominant. And I think, despite the own goal as well, I don't feel like that phased him in the game which was against Brighton afterwards as well. Like, he's a professional, he's an experienced player. But like he still played. He didn't play to the best of his capability against Brighton, but still did the ball carrying duties that he normally does. And for me, he's actually shown good form this season in that role. So I agree. I wouldn't really drop Matip for Konate. I think obviously Konate is the long-term future of the club. But I think this fixture, I think you're right. Experience will be key. Because if it's a fiery encounter, you don't want players to lose their head. We don't want normal red cards as well. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing that now. So yeah, I think that would be the wise choice. We touched on it earlier on in terms of the DM. Do you think McAllister will be the player that gets selected, or would Endo get the nod for this fixture?
You know, I'm gonna go on a quick. I'm gonna go on a punt. I'm gonna take a punt. I think you play. I think you play Endo. I'm gonna
Do you know
go.
what's funny? That's my prediction as well. I've written it down. I actually think we also have Endo on the basis that don't know what game was the last game that we played, and McAllister came on, started that game. He was awful in that first half, and then we had to substitute him as well. So, and that was due to the fact that he just came from an international week as well, traveling all over the world. So obviously the tiredness kicked in. I think he only arrived the day before as well. So I feel like, I know, you know, on paper you want to play your best players, but if they're not fully fit, I don't think this is the right fixture to play him. He can come on the second half, so I feel like it might be an option where Endo plays for like an hour and then McAllister comes on for the last half an hour. That's how I think Klopp might play out. So I'm quite happy that you've shared my vision there. I actually feel like Endo will start this one as well. So we're definitely aligned in terms of our selection there. Midfield, that's going to be interesting. No Curtis Jones.
You know, I think probably ain't gonna Curtis Jones.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day he puts Endo there. Not Endo, McAllister. Because I think McAllister's main problem at the end of the day, you can't really do that DM role. Do you know what I mean? Okay. I know he's doing it. I know for Brighton at the day, and even for his country that he's done that DM role now and again. I don't think that's his natural sort of like position. And I think what it is at the day now, he's come to Liverpool at the day where, you know, you have to be the best in whatever position at the day you're put in. I think he's showing more when he's with Liverpool than what he was with other teams. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your Brighton and like his country in it. And I think really and truly, he's best. How you get the best out of McAllister is his ball carrying. Do you know what I mean? It's the fact that they sort of like he's been able to carry that ball and be able to pass up to the front men. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes even score a goal himself. Do you know what I mean? So I think at the day, what he might do, I mean, if I was him at the day, right, I will put sort of like McAllister on the left. Because then at the day, you're going to have McAllister in midfield and they're doing the natural things at the day that he naturally does. You know what I mean? No,
it's a fair point.
Come back in 1 minute, yeah? Give me 1 minute.
Go for it. That's an interesting point. I think for me, in terms of McAllister, I feel like for the short term or the foreseeable future, I see him being that number 6 player, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like if we were to recruit a player in January, so, you know, Liverpool fans, you've probably seen a lot of rumors surrounding Andre from Fluminense. If that is a player that we sign, then I feel like that will give McAllister the sort of flexibility or the freedom to play that left-sided 6 role. So for me, that's definitely going to be an interesting position, you know, in January if that happens. But I think long-term, he will play that left-sided 8 role. But the thing is, you got to look at the squad as well. We've got a lot of players, in my opinion, especially playing those number 8 roles where they are more solid in terms of attacking threats. So when I'm saying attacking threats, like being ball carriers, having a physical presence, so I'm thinking of the likes of like Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. Those are the players that I feel like would definitely make a big impression on that left-hand side of our midfield. So it's an interesting headache to say for Klopp in terms of what needs to be done going forward. Interesting to see what Uncle Rodz says in terms of having him as an 8. I don't know. I don't think he'll start. But obviously when Uncle Rodz comes back, we can clarify who else starts in that midfield. But we've got some options. So we've got Szoboszlai, who's, you know, has been phenomenal this season. You've got Harvey Elliott, who's just come back from a great victory for England as well. I think it was 9-1 that they won during the week. So, so he's definitely in form, and he played a big part as well. So, Uncle Ross, I agree with you in terms of McAllister's long-term position being that left-sided 8 or playing as number 8. But I think for the short term, until we don't sign an Andre, because that is the guy that we're linked with as well, I don't think that will happen. So, interesting. I actually think, now this might be a bit wayward, but I feel like this could happen. I actually think Szoboszlai will start as a left-sided number 8, and I see Elliott being that right-sided 8. I don't know if that adds a great balance to the team, but I feel like Endo, being the destroyer, will be there to do the dirty work where he's going to try and break play down. And then second half, I feel like that's when McAllister can come on and really make things happen. So like make things tick if required, or even just hold possession and just try and make sure we're not conceding. So let me know if you're Uncle Rodz. Who should we place in that number 8 roles in the team?
I think at the day you got something there, you know.
I feel like Elliott, I think do you remember that time when Elliott broke into the team? And then before he had that big ankle injury, I think he played against Burnley and Everton back to back. And everyone's like, what's Klopp doing? Like, he's a small guy. Like, he can't really handle that physical matches. But he had great games in those fixtures. So I feel like he's more than good. And I feel like he's in really high confidence from the England game as well. So I feel like it could be something where Klopp might do it. And with no Curtis Jones as well, I feel like it's definitely a game to give Elliott a chance. I feel like Elliott has actually done really well so far this season for us as well. So
I would do that. I would put Sabota on the left. Yeah.
Yes. So
put him on the left, and then put Elliott on the right. And then what you could do as well, right? Obviously, as the game goes on,
yes,
if you took off Elliott because you didn't want to obviously play all the game, you can put McAllister in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I would actually have Endo play the whole match.
Yeah.
Endo will be if we play the whole match. Only unless Brysechik in the day is sort of like fit and he's in the squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the bench and that, right? I will take him off and put Brysechik in there, right? Other than that, Endo at the day has to play the whole match. You know, I don't think Endo's played the whole match, has he?
No, he's always been taken off like the hour mark. And I feel like this game is actually a game that's suited to his style of play, actually. I feel like it's not going to be a beautiful game in terms of both teams playing attractive football. One team's definitely parking a bus, and we're the team that's just trying to break them down. So this is the type of game where you kind of need a destroyer as well to break up any play and then try and give Liverpool that counter and try and score some goals from there. So I agree with you on that one. I think Endo will start, and I'm hoping he does play the full 90 minutes as well, because I feel like this is a game that will use his ability in terms of our favor there. So no, for me, I feel like that's a good balance midfield. In terms of up top, so Jota's back. We mentioned, I think it goes without saying, Salah plays on the right hand side, so we can put in there. There's no debate on that one. These two positions, who plays left wing in this fixture?
They sort of like they both can do both of them could do both jobs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Gapper could play the left and as a striker. Jota could do the same. But I think what will happen and it will be, I think Gappo is the more natural striker out of the two. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So what's going to happen today is he will have Jota on the left and Gappo going through the middle. Do you know what I mean? And I think that would be good because they both can intertwine anyway if they want. Of course. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I do honestly think out of the two, Gappo is your more natural striker going through the middle. Do you know what I mean? Because most of sort of like Jota's goals and is coming off the left. You know what I mean? And peeling off the left. Do you know what I mean? And headers. You know what I mean? And stuff. So I feel that even when the times that they did put Jota up front, he didn't have that desired effect as he does at the day when he plays on the left. Do you know what I mean? So it will be Jota on the left and Gappo at the day going through the middle.
No, in terms of your tactics, I think you're spot on. If Jota and Gakpo were to start, it will definitely be a thing where they interchange because they can both equally play both roles with ease and with fluidity as well. Do you think it's too soon to start Gakpo, or do we not really have much choice to actually play him? Or would you prefer... So one of the options I had in my head was Diaz to start and then Jota to start in the middle, just to give Gakpo that... Not to put too much pressure on him and then make him maybe come on as a sub? Or do you think this is a game where we need Gakpo to start?
I think it's a game where we need Gakpo. I think it's a game at the day we need sort of like position. position. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say the word right. I can't get the word out. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
Directness. But like, you know, but there is a shout that he could do that. Do you know what I mean? But I just don't think at the day Jota has the same desired effect at the day as when coming off the left hand side. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah,
you know what
I
mean?
do.
I think in some sort of ways at the day, do you know what I mean? Oh, we are forgetting something, you know. We are forgetting something, yeah? We're literally forgetting something. Put Szoboszlai on the right, yeah? Right?
On the right wing or right midfield?
Right midfield, where the Elliot is.
Yeah.
Right? And then take out Elliot and put Gravenberch in.
So you start Gravenberch, okay.
Yeah, put Gravenberch in, blood. He started the other day and he looked good. You know
he did look good.
These games, you know what I mean? So that player and day, right, you get to rest sort of like obviously Elliot and then Day, right? And you got two fresh players at the day, two fresh feelers to come on later on that can take take the obviously Szoboszlai if you want to rest him and Gravenberch and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I forgot about Gravenberch. Gravenberch is a hard worker.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. In my head, I had Gravenberch on the bench. I didn't want him to start in this one. I feel like he would have been more impactful off the bench. I feel like with this sort of game, because Szoboszlai is such a hard worker as well, despite having so much flair, I feel like he can kind of maintain that midfield composure going into the second half. And then if we need a ball carrier, then bring Gravenberch. But look, I'm not mad. I'm a big fan of Gravenberch. So feel like he needs to start, then he can do it.
Would you have Elliot on the left then? Elliot on the left.
So I prefer Elliot on the right just because I feel like his relationship with Salah is quite an effective one on the right-hand side. Yeah. So him playing on the right-hand side of that number 8 allows Salah to sometimes drift in the more central role, and then Elliot can go a bit more wide. So it ends up being like a triangle with Trent, Salah and Elliot as well. So that was my thinking in terms of having Elliot. And I feel like because Elliot's in good form, he's just come off a great win for England as well. I feel like we can use that to advantage. But look, this is the thing that we've got.
You know what? You make a great point. Swap it back.
But hey, look, I'm not mad at Gravenberch, man. Gravenberch is my guy, so yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. But look,
more fire off the bench is more better, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you as well, this is a great headache to have as a coach, where you got so many options. Like I would say this time last year, we were so predictable. Everyone knew what our lineup was, and it's like it was the lineup was predictable. But the thing is, even our gameplay was predictable, where we were so slow and so sluggish on the ball. Like we were getting ran through by teams like nothing, you know. So this is a great kind of options for us to have, where we can have these debates and talk tactics in terms of how we feel like we can start, because we've mentioned different variations and it can literally be any one of them. Yeah. And it can even be a thing where it can be transitioned throughout the game at the same time. So, and I've just got a comment here from Double D, which is another thing that I had in my mind as well. There is also the option to play Szoboszlai further forward, because for Leipzig, he played on the left wing and he played on the right wing with ease, and he used to score a lot of goals for them as well. So, you know, that is an option to have where, look, let's say Gakpo is not available. We can easily do a thing where Jota starts on the central area, so as a main striker, Szoboszlai on the left wing, and then you bring Gravenberch and Elliot in your midfield as well, and then you have Endo as your DM. So there's so many options, and that can work as well. They'll add a good balance to the team. But you know, I feel like we're positive as fans as well.
Crossy, I think what's going to happen when Salah goes to the African Nation Cup,
yes,
you're going to see Szoboszlai going the right way.
Yeah, possibly. It's definitely an option.
Because what's going to happen today, if well, I know I'm 90% sure it's going to happen, that we're going to buy Andre in the transfer window, January transfer window.
Fingers crossed.
I'm sure that's going to happen still. So then you've got more options in midfield. Do you understand what I'm saying? So then you can actually say we could have a midfield of McAllister, Andre, and Gravenberch. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And by them times that Thiago should be back. hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Back and everything like that. So you still got a lot of options in midfield. So you can then at the day push Szoboszlai further forward at the day, right? And make it a right wing. And I think that's the reason, one of the main reasons why they bought Szoboszlai, because at the day they know at the day he can play right wing. And they know they're sort of like Salah's going to the African Nation Cup, obviously 2024. So you know what I mean? It's just like having a player and they that can play multiple roles at the day is quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a typical cop player, I think.
Yeah,
that is definitely an option. I can definitely see that happening, especially depending who the opposition is. It might actually work to our favor to have a player like Szoboszlai on that right hand side, but then have the likes of Gravenberch or McAllister, or if we have a new signing, the likes of Andre to come in as well. We've got plenty of options to do that. Also, for me, if we do add that extra midfielder who, could be Andre in the January window, it allows Elliot to play on that right-hand side as well. So he might be rotated with Szoboszlai on the right-hand side. So we've got options for that position. So look, for me, the squad depth is definitely there this time round. We've got so many options, so many sort of variations of who can play where, which is, a great headache for Klopp, to say the least. Now, in terms of predictions, what are we saying for Rodz? What is your score prediction for this game?
Listen, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think they will get a goal. You know, whether they score first and they score first and then it spurs us on and then they to sort of like pack them up. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think they'll score a goal. But I think we got too much firepower for them because we was just talking about the options that we got. Do you know what I mean? If it's obviously not working, we can change this and change that. You know what I mean? Remember the day we literally got like we got three players injured, like probably injured, but he's probably injured. Nunez, it won't be available for that game, and obviously Curtis Jones won't be available for the game due to suspension. So we've got 3 injuries and sort of like a suspension on day. But the good thing about this is that we still got options at the day for the midfield. You know what I mean? Which is good. So yeah, man, 4-1, man. 4-1, we're here for it.
I love it. I love that positivity. I'm gonna water it down a little bit, and then as much as I love that, and trust me, I love for that score prediction. I'm actually going for a bit more of a modest one. I'm going for a 2-0 for Liverpool. I'm hoping for a clean sheet, so that's maybe me being more hopeful than actually seeing that as a reality, because the way we concede goals is a bit of a joke. The reason why I don't feel like it will be a big scoreline, in my opinion, it's just the nature of the game in terms of it being a midday kickoff. If this was a Sunday fixture, I feel like we'll smash them without any shadow of doubt. I feel like we'll do it because it's that kind of fixture as well, and I feel like we've got a couple suspensions, we've got injuries here and there. We don't have the full strength, even though, like we discussed, we have a lot of options going forward. It's not the full squad right now, so I think a 2-0 would be a decent result in my opinion. Clean sheets. I want to start seeing clean sheets now. That is what I'm hoping for going forward. So I'm going for 2-0. In terms of predicting goal scorers, I'm hoping to see a Szoboszlai rocket in this one. And, that'd be amazing. And then Jota, I think Jota, he gets fired up for these kind of encounters. I feel like he's a perfect player to start these games. So I feel like he'll be definitely on the score sheet. But yeah, let us know what you guys think in terms of the scoreline. Is it going to be a modest one like mine, or is it going to be rock and roll with Uncle Rodz in terms of a 4-1? Which,
rock and roll, mate. Rock and roll.
I'd love to see if that happens, but that's the end of the show, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Uncle Rodz, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem.
Please let everyone know where to find you, where to follow you on social, and how to get in touch with you in terms of your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, listen, thanks for having me on your show. Thanks. And listen, anytime you need me on show, you just ask and I'm there. Okay, I've got my Instagram. You can get to me on Instagram as Anfield Uncle Rodz on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? I'm usually posting stuff on Instagram about the show and putting my links in there as well, so you can, obviously come on the show, join the show and view the show. Anfield Uncle Rodz on Twitter as well. I'm there on Twitter. as I said, again, normally posting stuff on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? My YouTube channel is Anfield Uncle Rodz. Okay, you can get to me on there. On the road to 1K. Currently standing at 883 at the moment. So you know what? If you haven't subscribed, subscribe and also like as well. And make sure you don't leave it without liking and subscribing to my friend show, man. Make sure the football podcast, man. Make sure you lick that. Is it football podcast show, isn't it?
Football Talk podcast. So yeah, appreciate.
Football Talk podcast. Make sure you guys do not leave here without liking and subscribing, because this guy at the end of the day, he's doing some good work and he's working very, very hard. So please show your support. Please do.
Thank you, Uncle Roz. Appreciate it as always. And guys, I've actually tagged Uncle Roz in the description. So all you have to do, you don't have to even search for his name now. Just click on the tag and you'll go to his channel and then you can hit that subscribe button. It will literally take a few seconds. So let's help him try and get that 1K mark as well. You know, it's a big milestone for us content creators. So please try and support him, make that happen. And then make sure you like, subscribe as well to his videos. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe. Let's hope we get that win on Saturday. I will be doing a match reaction as well. So if you're available on Kuraz, feel free to come on after the match.
I'm here for it. Just follow up with me, send me the link, because I'm doing my match reaction, of player raise. I'm gonna do it on Sunday. So I'm available. I am available. So follow up and I'll come in there still. Yeah.
Definitely. I'll definitely send you the link.
Hopefully it's good. It could be good.
Hopefully it's good news, and hopefully we're not going on a rant, but you know, we'll see how it pans out. But as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Goodbye.
Love and respect.